When people talk about cannabis, they talk about like, it's not bad. I don't want to play that game. I just want to show how it's like, can contribute, like what it's for. Anyone can look at their life and realize, yeah, when I feel like my life gets worse, when I feel good, I have better ideas and things seem to move in a more positive direction.
Ricky Williams is one of the greatest college running backs in NCAA history. Playing 4 seasons at the University of Texas, Williams was a 2-time All-American and won the Heisman Trophy in 1998 and played 11 seasons in the National Football League. However, it wasn't without some controversy. Before the 2004 season, Williams tested positive for marijuana and faced a $650,000 fine and 4-game suspension. He chose to retire instead. He returned for the 2005 season, but was suspended for the 2006 season due to another drug policy violation. He came back in 2007 and played 5 more seasons. He ended his career with more than 10,000 career rushing yards, only the 26th player in NFL history to do so. So we're in Manhattan Beach today to talk to Ricky Williams about his football career, his cannabis business, and what the NFL needs to do to take better care of its players. I'm Adam Shorn. This is The Green Room.
The first time that I smoked cannabis was in high school.
Okay.
It was my junior year, but I didn't become a smoker until after I left college. The conditioning from the very beginning is that this is bad. Like the consideration that it could be good, it wasn't there. In college, so a lot of the guys on the team, sometimes Fridays, they would go into the room, shoot dice, play cards, and they'd smoke, and they, pass a blunt around. And I was young, and they invited me in, and so I was being cool with them, and so I'd hit it a couple times, and it was nice. I didn't, I noticed that it, contributed to the camaraderie and helping us feel together as a team, and those were really special moments. But it wasn't something, I wasn't a smoker.
And it wasn't like you smoked and all of a sudden you were like, I can go out there on the field and right.
There wasn't even a connection, and
Okay.
because most of us athletes, when we're growing up, we're said this is a bad thing. So it's not. It was difficult to take pride in it and even to consider it in a positive light. It was my senior year in college, and I just had a really rough couple of weeks. And I remember my roommate, suggested that I smoke, and I smoked, and I slowed down, and I started looking at all the things in my life from a higher perspective, and I wasn't so caught up in the stuff. I could see a way out. I could see it differently.
Is that the way you used cannabis while you were in the NFL?
The way I keep thinking about the world now is we live in 2 different worlds. Okay, we have the outer world, which is we have expectations from people and things and ourself, right? We have the expectation that we need a place to sleep at night, and we need to put food in our body, right? Those are external needs. But we also have internal things, right? We need to feel certain ways. We need to feel like we're accomplishing certain things. And I think truly at the end of the day, at least for me, those inner urges always went out over the external expectations. And what I realized is the need for peace of mind was much more valuable to me than the fame or the money or any of that other stuff. And so if I had to choose between giving up peace of mind to make money and destroy my body or to feel good, I chose to feel good.
While cannabis may have hindered Williams' NFL career, it also paved the way for his post-football calling as a cannabis advocate, not only for recreation, but for health. He recently started his own cannabis line, Highsman.
I always had this dream of really combining sports and spirituality, because especially as I had my spiritual awakening, I realized, going through yoga teacher training and living in an ashram, it felt so much like training camp. It felt so much like a football environment. And I started to make a connection of everything that we learn as a professional athlete can prepare us to be successful in life. The first aim is to give people an expression of the love for these 2 things, right? Because they've been separated for so long. And the second thing is to kind of lead the way of examples of how to combine these 2 things, because I've been doing it for so long.
Right,
I've been ahead of the pack, so I have a little bit of experience.
He's not just an athlete, he's an athlete who has a voice and he wants to get his movement out there and he wants it to be heard. It's a movement, and we're all doing our part, and some of us have louder voices, and he just, the way he's using his it's beautiful, He's doing something he believes in, and it actually is helping people.
This one's one of those that for the price, it definitely...
And it's what? It's $40. It's $40 for...
Yeah, $40 for an eighth. Basically, off of that, you got 3 different options, which will be the pregame, halftime, and the postgame.
We have a sativa, our pregame in California right now. Our sativa is called Jesus Skittlesworth, which is a cross of Jesus OG and watermelon Skittles.
If you're gonna hit a hike, definitely go for it. Gonna hit the gym. I'm someone who, if I'm like, I used to box, if I'm about to go boxing or something like that, pre-game will be my go-to.
Our halftime is Ken Jiffy Jr., which is a peanut butter souffle.
With halftime, it's like you got your players who's like super tired during halftime. You got your players who's still, mad that they took in the L, or excited that they winning, and they're energized. And with halftime, I feel like it gives you that. It's like however you're leaning, that's where it's gonna take you to.
And then our post game is cherry rice, which is a cherry pie. And if you notice, each one is, an homage to a well-known athlete.
Post game is definitely after the game, I would say. It's that, you're tired, you're excited. I'm assuming you won the game too. So you just want to kind of go home, relax, just take the rest of the day and just enjoy what you got left after that. So post game will be the one.
Athletes are people too. People, we smoke weed to feel better, maybe ease the pain in our neck, but then do you pick up the television remote and watch your favorite show? Or do you pick up, a video game controller and play a game with your friend and enjoy it more? Do you enjoy food more? Is that a recreational thing or is that medicinal? I don't know, but it's mental health.
In 2020, the NFL and the Players Union ratified a new contract in which cannabis use was loosened. Under the new agreement, players who test positive will no longer be suspended. Players will only be tested the first 2 weeks of training camp, and the threshold of THC one could have in their system was raised fourfold. And while they won't be suspended, they will be fined and put into treatment programs. Do you think that the way the rules that they've changed go far enough? Or do you feel that they should just totally remove cannabis from the list of things that they test for during the season?
So after a football game, especially for me, because I, carried a lot, our trainer would walk down the plane and he had this little container of Vicodin, right? And he would say, what do you need, 3, 4? And he'd pass them out, okay? Football is a brutal sport. And to me, the NFL's responsibility is to give players all reasonable means to take care of themselves and to punish players by fine, because they've cut it down to a fine, for taking care of themselves in natural ways, even if, the government hasn't caught up to realize that this shouldn't be illegal. I think NFL owes it to their players.
Do you think if the rules as they are now were in place then, you would still be, you would have extended your NFL career?
For sure, but I'm not saying that's a positive thing. Right? There's an assumption that the longer you play football, that's a positive thing, right? And I don't share that, because I value quality of life more than I value money, and money doesn't always lead to quality of life. When people think the only way that I'm allowed to feel good is I have to have something wrong with me, then they create things wrong with them in order to justify doing something that feels good.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to say is you don't need a reason to feel good, except if you want your life to be good.